Clint Eastwood's 1978 action-adventure comedy flick known as Every Which Way But Loose was a pre-fun flick and what have you, and I gotta say, it was very funny and pretty cool too. Last month, however, in last year, marked 45 years when its sequel came out. And even though I've only seen it once, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a review of this anyway, even after just seeing it one time. Prepare yourselves. Here's my review of Any Which Way You Can. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and this time around, I bring to you a review of the 1980 action comedy flick Any Which Way You Can, released by Warner Bros., directed by Buddy Van Horn, written by Stanford Sherman, starring Clint Eastwood back in the role of Philo Beddoe, along with Sondra Locke, Geoffrey Lewis, William Smith, and Ruth Gordon, most from the first film, back in supporting roles. The film is the sequel to 1978's Every Which Way But Loose. Now, of course, the cast of the previous film returned as Philo Beddoe reluctantly comes out of retirement from underground bare-knuckle boxing to take on a champion hired by the Mafia, who will stop at nothing to ensure the fight takes place, while the neo-Nazi biker gang Philo humiliated in the previous film also come back for revenge. The film was released on December 17th, 1980. And while it it didn't quite come close to being as big as make as much as its predecessor, it still did okay and what have you. But it got mixed reviews though, however. So, let's get started. If you haven't seen my review of Every Which Way But Loose, I'd advise you to click on that before you go into this one, okay? In case you might have missed it, or if you would like to see it again. Okay, on with the story. 2 years after throwing his fight with Tank Murdoch, Philo Beddoe is still fighting in underground bare-knuckle boxing matches. He still lives with his mother, his best friend Orville, and orangutan Clyde. And he decides to retire when he realizes that he has started to enjoy the pain. One evening, Philo encounters his ex-girlfriend, country western singer Lynn Halsey Taylor, singing at his favorite bar. Lynn apologizes to Philo and he forgives her. They become a couple again and move in together. The Black Widows, the biker gang with a grudge against Philo, return. However, he bests them in a chase that runs through an asphalt machine during a road paving project. Meanwhile, Jack Wilson, a new breed of fighter from the East Coast who mixes martial arts with boxing, dominates the bare knuckle circuit. After a fight between a mongoose and a rattlesnake, one of the handlers realizes that if Philo, king of the West Coast brawlers, agreed to fight Wilson, it would be the biggest draw in the history of bare knuckle boxing. Philo agrees to the fight, but after much prodding from Orville and Lynn, withdraws. The handlers, led by handicapper Jimmy Beekman and backed by the Mafia, kidnap Lynn to curse Philo to show up for the fight. The fight is to take place near Jackson, Wyoming. The Black Widows follow Philo there. Wilson, however, is a prize fighter with morals. After he learns of the plot and helps Philo and Orville rescue Lynn, he and Philo call off the fight. However, both men's pride makes them wonder who would have won. Now, for the rest of this film story, I'm going to advise you to stop the video at once and go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below to avoid the rest of the film being spoiled by the endings. So, as I count down now, if you've seen this already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Now then, the brawl takes place, but is punctuated by pauses and reflections on their admiration for each other. Meanwhile, the Black Widows bet everything they have on Philo. When the mobsters try to kill Philo, once he gains the upper hand, the Black Widows protect their investment by beating up the Mafia men. Wilson breaks Philo's arm and offers to end the fight, but the men continue the brawl. After a long fight, Philo knocks Wilson out long enough to qualify for a win. Wilson helps Philo to the hospital. Then they have a drink at the $1 Million Cowboy Bar. On their way home, Philo and the Black Widows, who are now rich, declare a truce and part amicably. Beekman, whose attempts to rig the fight for Wilson failed, cannot pay the mob betters and is marked for death. After reaching California, Philo and Lynn are pulled over by a cop who lost money betting against Philo. He promises to endlessly harass them as punishment, and Lynn calls out, "Right turn, Clyde!" And Clyde knocks out the cop, and they drive away. End of story. So, what did I think of Any Which Way You Can? Well, after I've only seen this one time, I am going to say it's not too bad. Well, not quite as good as Every Which Way But Loose, but still was pretty good in some ways. Sure, it does have its issues, though. While well, the reviews were kind of mixed or even negative, or close to even negative, where the film sits at a mere 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, though. Its reviews just weren't that hot. Roger Ebert gave this 2 out of 4 stars and opened his review by saying the film is not a very good movie, but it's hard not to feel a grudging affection for it. Where else, in the space of 115 minutes, can you find a country and western road picture with 2 fights, a bald motorcycle gang, the mafia, a love story, a pickup truck, a tow truck, Fats Domino, a foul mouth octogenarian, an oversexed orangutan, and a contest for the bare knuckle championship of the world? Yeah. Janet Maslin of the New York Times thought the film was better and funnier than its predecessor. Yes, that is true. It was almost close to that, almost better, but it was pretty funny though. And adding that Clyde's role has been expanded this time. Yes, I do agree on that. We see more of Clyde the orangutan, who actually is more different looking than before. I'll get to that in a moment, if I can remember. And Ruth Gordon's been made smaller, all of which makes the formula much more fun. Todd McCarthy of Variety wrote, "Filled with plenty of monkey business, the first half is pretty funny as these things go, but the film runs out of steam after midway highlight. Although over length didn't stop the film's same flaw, well, the loose same flaw here is even more irritating due to protracted finale and lack of any continuing tension in Eastwood Locke relationship." Gene Siskel gave this 3 out of 4 stars, called it a most genial Eastwood action comedy. Kevin Thomas of the LA Times wrote, "Directed in an appropriately laid back manner by Buddy Van Horn in his directorial debut, the film aspires to nothing more than entertainment. As one comedy of admittedly greater ambitions after another proves disappointing these days, this film is welcome as just plain fun." Gary Arnold of the Washington Post wrote, "A generous entertainment of its kind, the film mixes plentiful portions of gauche, robust action and equipment with frequent musical interludes. The weakest element is in the plot is the lack of compelling reason for Philo and Jackson to go through with their fight." Well, that's understandable. Still, while the film didn't quite come close to as its predecessor, just kind of off by about 30 million, as the film made 70 million in North America on its $15 million budget and went on to become the fifth highest grossing film of 1980. So eventually it still did pretty good. Well, during its opening, it did pretty good. It became the top film, and the following weekend between Christmas and New Year, it stayed on top with a little bit of an increase. And the Saturday showing was a record single day for a Warner Bros. Film with a gross of over 3 million, being out even Superman. Still, I have to give it credit. Anyway, now Glenn Campbell, may he rest in peace, who also made a cameo appearance in the movie, performed the title song, whereas you may recall Eddie Rabbit performed the theme for the film's predecessor, Every Which Way But Loose. Now, of course, that was shown in the final scene of the movie, and the song was actually a top 10 hit on the country charts. However, Menace, the orangutan who played Clyde in the first film, had aged out of the role and was replaced by a younger orangutan named Buddha. According to multiple witnesses recounting the book by Jane Goodall, rest in peace, and Dale Pearson, Visions of Caliban, Buddha was badly mistreated and clubbed to death by his trainers after stealing donuts on the set. Well, that's understandable and what have you. Horrible. And then soon, the book cites witnesses who say that, well, the orangutan was being badly beaten by his head trainer who clubbed him with an axe handle, and that an autopsy after his death suggested cerebral hemorrhage. No action was taken against his trainers, however, because were no U.S. laws requiring humane treatment of primates at the time. CJ, a substitute orangutan, was just brought in after filming was completed due publicity, and Buddha's name was left off of the credits. William Munns, the makeup effects artist of the film, though not witness to the events, expressed doubt regarding Buddha's ill treatment, calling the trainer one of the kindest he knows. But anyway, now, of course, I really don't know who actually composed the film's music, but I will say it does have a pretty good soundtrack. As the film was as the film soundtrack was released from Warner Bros. Under their Viva Records subsidiary, where Clint Eastwood actually collabed with Ray Charles. Yes, this would be one of his few achievements of collabing with an actual superstar. Of course, he actually collabed with Merle Haggard, I think right about the time or just after this, with Barroom Buddies, and then with T.G. Shepherd for Make My Day, which was a little tribute to Dirty Harry. But unfortunately, that wasn't in any of the movies, though. But I believe Barroom Buddies was featured in the film. But anyway, it also featured songs by Gene Watson, Johnny Duncan, and of course Sondra Locke herself, as well as the number one hit by, well, two of the actual artists from Viva Records, which were David Frizzell and Shelley West, with their big hit "You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma," which I have heard that numerous times. It's a good song. For the cast, we have Clint Eastwood back as Philo. He's still good, like always. Sondra Locke as Lynn. I've got to give her credit. She did good. Geoffrey Lewis, who who that same year actually started to appear in the short-lived Alice spinoff of Flo, returns as Orville. He's good. Ruth Gordon returns as Ma. Yeah, even though her performance is a little short, but still it's fine. We have William Smith as Jack Wilson and Barry Corbin as Zach Tupper. Oh, there's so many others and what have you. Yeah, just so many. Oh yeah, and there's even an appearance by the late great Anne Ramsey, who, of course, this was before she even played Mama Fratelli in the Goonies, and Mrs. Lift in Throw Mama from the Train. Still, oh yeah, and her husband Logan. Yes. So with everything said, any which way you can, well, maybe it may not quite come close to being like Every Which Way But Loose, but still it provides a lot of humor and what have you, and a lot of fun and action and stuff like that. I think it's pretty good. Would I recommend it? I'd say it's a draw between sure, go ahead, or if you are a hardcore completionist, I think a one-time watch would be worth it. Please stand by. All right, so what did you think of Any Which Way You Can? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. Next time, I'll be bringing to you a Saturday morning TV log special where I'll be talking about the long lost Saturday morning TV shows of Macduff, the Talking Dog, and Mugsy from 1976. So if you like this, check out my reviews for some of these other films. If you like a little more of Eastwood, check out one of his great action films, Dirty Harry from 1971, or go to the upper right hand corner and see my review of its sequel in Magnum Force from 1973. Now, look for a review of the third one, The Enforcer, to come up later on this year. Or if you would like maybe another kind of a fun-filled comedy movie with a little action and thrills in it, check out my spoiler-free review of the new reboot of Anaconda from last year in 2025. In the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.